apologies for starting a few minutes after the hour. Do appreciate the extra time here. It is 6:05. Kristen, are we, it's being recorded, correct?
I actually don't know, but I'm assuming it is. Okay, then I'm assuming it's on.
Okay,
It's not on the sign, so.
okay, we're good. Thank you. Thanks, Deb. All right, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right.
What are you doing last night for CBA?
Bob, it looks like you're all by yourself back down there.
Yeah, I know, nobody's here.
Is it something you said?
No, I took a shower this morning.
Yeah, that's my one.
I get up there, but I got a cold.
We do have minutes from last month's meeting to review and approve. They were previously sent. Was there any edits or any issues with those minutes? If not, I would
I'll make a
recommend a
motion
motion
to
to,
accept the minutes as written.
I would second that.
motion by Marge and seconded by Martha. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So you move over
Abstentions? Chair votes in the affirmative.
a little bit.
So those minutes are approved, and if they are not posted, which I believe they are ready to be posted with the approval distinctions. Excellent. Moving on to public comment. Does anyone have any public comments that they would like to address to the? Come on up, Ray. If you could just give me 1 second.
I hope you can hear me okay. I'm gonna kind of stay away from the microphone. I have a cold and a sore throat, so that's why I'm wearing the mask. But I thought it was really important that I come,
Yep.
because I'm here as a private citizen, and I think with all what you folks are doing, I think it's vitally important that the general public be included in some of this decision-making. Now,
Bless you.
whether or not they show up, that's another story. But getting the word out to the general public, I think, is really important. And because some of these decisions are so vital, and we understand the purpose of the master plan. It's advisory to other boards and so forth. Some people think it doesn't have any power. I think it's a vision for the town, and I think we need to concentrate on what are the vital issues that need to be spelled out and brought forward. And you probably know what my thought is. That would be about water. What is more important other than air? So I would hope. Go ahead.
Ray, no, I just want to kind of ensure that, because it was a little mumbled, but I just want you, because it's incredibly important and the town is working on it, but what you said was water and infrastructure? Was that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
It-
Amongst other things,
Yeah.
traffic, all of that.
right,
In other words, public safety and what we're thinking about when we're going to be servicing the town
Right.
is the general public. And there's a lot that's happening right now, which is very good. There's a lot more we have to do, but we have some opportunities that we need to take advantage of. And with that, I will sit down, unless somebody's got a question.
anyone have any questions for Ray? Ray, thank you.
Thank you.
And the reason the way you said it was muffled, so I just wanted to ensure that the record was clear that water and infrastructure.
Water is what I think is vitally important, and I think there needs to be a section in the master plan And in the 2013 plan, there was a relatively small section. And when we look at other towns here in the state of New Hampshire, a lot of other towns are also very concerned with water, and they have a fairly large section in their master plan about water. And I'm hoping Londonderry will do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. All right. We are still open for public comment. Does anyone have any? Art, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Art Rugg, 11 Pine Hollow Drive, Assistant Secretary of the Planning Board, Secretary of Southern New Hampshire Planning, and I'm Chair of CART, which is the Cooperative Alliance for Regional Transportation. And another member on CART is John Wilson from Londonderry and Alona Arndt from, who's our Director of Senior Services. And we had a good discussion with our town manager and finance director, along with Manchester Transit. Mike Whitten was there, and Tracy Whitehead. And we had discussed, basically the future of CART, basically what CART can do for this community. And we got into the party visioning and looking at the Transportation Secretary of Londonderry's up-and-coming master plan. So I think it's going to be a critical thing for both CART and for the region. And John Wilson is also a member of Region 8 of the Regional Coordinating Council, and that handles all the transportation issues. So some of the discussion looked at if we get more people like on a transit route or something, it takes the people off the road. It helps the road situation. So it works together, and that's something that we have to think about. And I know Manchester Transit is really working on that, and that helps definitely Manchester with their traffic problems. So just something to start thinking about. We need to think about it, and we need to have a plan on what in the community. And mostly what CART does is benefit seniors that can't really get around, and also people that for whatever reason need a ride to work.
Thank you, Art. Anyone else for public comment? All right. Seeing none, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, moving on to and through our agenda. Excellent. All right. So, last week, as I'm sure we're all aware, but for the public also, this is a subcommittee and of the planning board. So last week we, Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission, presented the work that we did and kind of approved to move forward to the planning board. What we've on chapters 1, 2, and 3, the visioning chapter, land use chapters, and et cetera. So there was really some great discussions related to that. There was a few different kind of edits that the planning board did suggest to make, but 97%, if not more, was absolutely approved. Just to kind of go to a public hearing and use that document as the document to inform the public of what we are looking at from our overall first few chapters here. With that said, and Jake just walked in, so
sorry guys.
No worries. Jake, we are on where kind of doing a debrief of the planning board discussion we had last week.
Sure.
So what I just kind of set the table of what was included in that discussion, kind of gave some background.
Thanks.
Sylvia, if you don't mind just kind of reviewing, kind of those edits, those added suggestions, and Jake and I will definitely be able to navigate as well, and Sean.
Sure. So I think many of the folks who are in the room were there that night with the planning board, but one of the things that as we did a very high overview of the process how important the process is, and the different sections that we did. One of them was this, how the committee developed the vision. And that started with this discussion on how the committee felt the vision needed to be aspirational, include responsible spending, and you can see the third bullet was revised. It's hard for me to see it, but, so they felt that the way it was written, move away from small town to a community that has all the modern day conveniences, that didn't quite jive with what the committee or the residents that responded to the survey, what they were sharing. And so it became sort of a brainstorm with the planning board, and this is what was developed. So I think what was important for everyone was to recognize that the community is growing, that it has all the modern day conveniences, but that it's important that the small town charm is maintained. And so that's why this particular bullet was, it was discussed to revise this. The others, the highlighted environmental stewardship and unique characteristics, as well as the excellent quality of services, everything else, including the actual vision itself, was not touched, just this one bullet. So that's the first one. Anyone have a question before we move on to this next thing? Okay. Let's go to then, if we jump to page 23, and you'll see a current use table there. Next one. Keep going. Oh, I guess for us, it's on page 24 here. So you'll see this current use, land use. Just for the record, the way Zach creates this is, first of all, most of this information comes from the town of Londonderry. The assessing office, they delineate these various land uses, and they also provide the acreage. One of the things that Zach also does, he compares it with information from the census, and you can see his comments here on the side. But before I go on to his comments, it was asked, well, how is this agricultural acreage developed? And there was thought with the planning board that it should be a larger amount. And what we learned from Zach is that the assessing office, if there is a farm, let's say it's 50 acres, and 40 of the acres is farmland, but just maybe half an acre has a single-family home, the whole 50 acres is put into the category of single-family residential. It doesn't get put into agricultural because of that single-family use. That's not uncommon, and
Can we put that in a Londonderry term? Because, the whole 50-acre thing is very broad. I think it would help the board for an example, and I think I'm right on this. Might not be. So you take Peterson's Sugar Farm there. That is clearly a farm, but because it has a house on it that's recognized as single-family land. Does that am I saying that right? Is that how I'm reading that?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
okay.
okay, what's the last name on that, please?
So the Peterson's Farm,
Peterson's.
yep,
Peabody Road.
on Peabody Row. Realistically, anyhow, but 90%, Peabody Row is like to me, Peabody Row is the most
Okay.
farm-oriented street in town in Londonderry.
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
we can show an example of that.
But
but
I'm
one
just,
of-
for my own, for everybody in the room, trying to give them an example of what you're saying that's actually related to Londonderry,
Sure.
as opposed to 50 acres and blah, blah, blah. I think everybody understands now exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Thank you.
But I guess I'm just wanted to review Zach's statement here, that within, so as he wrote, within Londonderry's assessing data, a parcel is only considered agricultural if that parcel does not also have a home on it. Any farmland that also includes a house would be classified as a single-family residential. However, a 2023 independent analysis of land use, land cover by the USGS, by the U.S. Geological Survey, estimated that agricultural land in Londonderry accounted for around 590 acres, or 2.2% of the total area. So even less. And what they do is they look at land coverage. So one of the things that I wanted to ask the group is if, we're happy to put in this clarification and the caveat, but I just wonder, does this change any of the recommendations within land use?
I don't think so, but I don't think so.
It's nothing was based off of 0.7% of agriculture difference.
So, and then let me just quick review the other two categories that he included. The open and recreational space category does not suffer from the same limitations as the agricultural category. That is, many parcels with conservation easements also include built improvements like single-family homes. However, the town's assessing data is supplemented by additional conservation areas data from the University of New Hampshire. For this category, UNH's data overrides the town's because they have more specific data. And then finally, vacant land can include a diverse array of uses. In some cases, it's just vacant land that could be developed if the homeowner wanted to. In other cases, it's a land that is not developable because of environmental barriers like wetlands. It can also include utilities like large electrical transmission lines, of which Londonderry has several. However, not all transmission lines are classified as vacant. So we can put into the body of the text these caveats if the board
I
feels
just
it's important.
hear me out. We already sent this to the planning board. We're back here asking for advice about adding more stuff to it. Whether I disagree with the items going to be added to this, I don't understand why it's happening here.
I thought this was the case where we're reviewing the
I know,
planning board
but-
We're reviewing
comments.
the changes, but we're not looking for additional changes.
This is what I'm,
This is already-
yeah, this is, now we're asking for, it's a whole nother conversation in and of itself as to why
Okay, so you just want us to include this?
public work moves so slow, but like, this is already past us. This is just a review. And I'm not saying this to, I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. If, I guess what I'm getting at is if we feel as though the change is warranted, at this point, it needs to happen at the planning board, because this has already been approved and sent to the planning board. So say theoretically, we all say we make this change, and then it goes back to the planning board, and everybody goes, why'd all these changes happen? You guys already sent it to us. We get in this vicious cycle of why nothing gets done in government, right? Because we're just going in circles. So, while I'm totally open to adding any of this, I think it's at a planning board level at this point.
I mean, what's the harm? I mean, no due respect again, but why can't you put it as a footnote somewhere in the appendix? You don't have to change the document, just put a footnote.
I'm happy.
I mean,
happy
you're
to
not
do
changing
it.
the document. I don't think planning board's gonna, all you're doing is explaining
Clarifying.
Yeah. but
Clarifying
that's
is
what I'm
all, it's not like a planning
to m-
board thing.
That's
so-
what I'm saying. To me, it looks like we're looking for advice to change the
Yeah.
document if we see fit, and it's like, we're past that.
And at the planning board, we asked for
what it is.
footnotes on describe this agricultural
Yes,
situation.
correct.
So we've already
Which is
asked for
what's
these things.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's all I'm getting at is,
Yep. I agree with you.
we're asking
fully.
for advice that's already been like,
Yep.
Okay.
done. Do you know what I mean,
All right,
Jeff?
so on the agricultural one, the only thing you want us to do is add the Peterson's example.
I'm not looking for you to add anything.
He was trying to
I'm
say it for the
looking to
room.
clarify so the board understood what you were saying, because you were using a generality that had absolutely nothing to do with Londonderry. What I was asking, and what I did for the board, was put it in terms that everybody on this board knows what the Peterson Sugar Shack is, and now everybody can relate to, okay, we all know the Peterson Sugar Shack. We all look at it as a farm and agricultural. However, the data says it's not agricultural, it's technically single-family residential. That's all I was looking for on that, was so the board could understand, instead of a generality of you have a 50-acre parcel where 40 acres of it's used for agriculture, but there's a house on it. All I was doing was giving them an actual Londonderry statistic of a house we all know, so we knew exactly what you were talking about.
All right, let's move on to 28, page 28.
I don't agree with that, but that's fine.
Was the only other comment. It may be 29 on this case, yeah. This was the last of the land use recommendations. The recommendation was to change this, there was a lot of discussion about sidewalks, and instead what we came up was promote unique pedestrian connections, promote new residential developments, have on-site amenities including multi-use paths or walkways, and establish strategies for future walkable, bikeable connections on existing roadways when feasible. Jeff and Jake were to provide any feedback. Not sure if you had a minute to look at that. John?
Yeah, just two quickies. You got a typo, I think, there. Promote new residential developments probably should have the word that.
That have on site.
And secondly, it looks like we went a long way to not say sidewalks.
Which is what the board, this was a very heavy discussion at the board, at the board level, because if we're looking at sidewalks, we're trying to figure out what's the problem we're trying to solve. We're trying to make a walkable community. We also, if you look at the vision, we want to ensure that we are fiscally responsible. Putting sidewalks in through town does increase some fiscal responsibility. So there's that aspect. Walkability also allows us to have that flexibility to ensure that our roads are wide enough. They're not these narrow corridors that you're seeing kind of in like Tuscan Village, for example. The reason I'm using that excuse, I was there this afternoon. It's incredibly, I mean, those roads are incredibly narrow. One member don't really, you can't walk there. You can't walk on those roads. We want a walkable community. And how you solve for that, whether it's sidewalks, whether it's wider road widths, it allows us the flexibility to kind of look at that without kind of shoehorning and saying, your master plan says sidewalks, I don't see any sidewalks, why do we need to have those sidewalks conversations? Where we're trying to get the problem we're trying to solve is a walkable community, and I feel that we can do that and not kind of shoehorn sidewalks. So that was, I think that was the crux of that conversation. Sean, Jake, Art, if I recall.
I mean, you sum it up, that's more flexible than having just one particular implementation of a walkway. So it gives us a lot more.
So, Mr. Chair, what does the word unique mean here? I don't understand what unique pedestrian connections are. What does that mean, the word unique? I mean, it's already been approved by master plan, so I guess it doesn't matter, but I don't understand what the word unique has to do with this.
This is not approved.
This is
Not approved?
No.
Well, I
this-
guess I question the word unique,
First
not that I'm a
reading.
wordsmith.
This hasn't
but-
gone through a
First
public
reading,
hearing.
there's
It's a
been no
first
public
reading.
And I
So
think,
let's not, this has not been approved.
okay, so unique, I don't know what's unique about it. It's more like a variety of pedestrian, anyway. I agree with John that I don't.
It's a good call.
It's disappointing to see sidewalks. Nobody's saying sidewalks to the whole town. It's a very large community physically, but encouraging new developments to have sidewalks that connect to something. I think that's, personally, I think it's a mistake to take it out.
I think-
And,
Why?
Was
Why?
that the conversation at the, was
Be-
that the
Because,
conversation?
because I'll give you an example. I live in Lordon Commons, okay? I'll give you an exact example. We have lots of young families there, young kids. The development was built with no sidewalk, so the road is 22 or 24 feet wide, which is standard road. Everybody's walking their dog, walking their babies, kids playing in the street because there's no sidewalk, not even eight on one side. So I think this whole knee-jerk thing about sidewalks is interesting.
I don't think it's a knee jerk.
Well, I mean, it seems to be, but that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. But I think the sidewalks, not throughout the town, but in certain developments as they get built, are critical. I know that we've been going to the safety committee, safety commission, multiple times because of the situation in our neighborhood, and also making the road wider does not create pedestrian safety for walking. It doesn't work.
So,
So streets are for cars, right? So you might ride a bike, but that's about it.
just
So
on,
thank you. Anyway, that's my thoughts, and I wanted to say it. So
in terms of, where do I start? So I'm just trying to think of conversations we had at a planning board level for anybody that didn't have it. One of them was maintenance of sidewalks. While they're phenomenal in concept, you know, in North Carolina, South Carolina, they work because you don't get snow. Up here, we get snow. So there's a maintenance aspect to it.
Small town look and feel. doesn't
Yeah,
fit with that.
the small town look and feel of sidewalks are very much a
Urban.
exactly, have more of a city feel to them than, I mean, I grew up in Londonderry. Not a single road I've lived on had a sidewalk, and I grew up riding my bike in the middle of the street. And I'm sure anybody that really has lived in any neighborhood around here, chances are you probably don't have a sidewalk. Go into the Wayback Machine, sidewalks got put in. People said they absolutely hated them. The conversation was, one, maintenance associations, because most of these places are private developments, so they're paid for. Associations didn't want to pay the maintenance of plowing the sidewalks every year. Do you guys, she lives in the Nevins, right? You live in the Nevins, right? Do you guys make, do you?
Sidewalk, we just paid $600,000 to have them redone, and nobody walks them.
Yeah, so
Everybody
this
walks
is what I'm getting at. Do you guys maintain them in the winter?
Huh?
Do you maintain them in the winter or no?
No,
Yeah,
it's a
so,
waste of money.
so there's absolutely no point in having them because 6 months out of the year, we don't maintain them. Granted, we don't get the snow we used to get back in 2015 when we had 114 inches in 32 days. But the other concept of it, again, we went through a large building 55-plus community thing, which we've since removed the ordinance on them, but every conversation was we would rather a wider roadway that people can walk on and stay on one plane instead of walking up a sidewalk, staying on it, walking down a sidewalk, because 30 feet later, you're at somebody's front driveway, walking across it, then walking up again and going straight. We wanted to find a way to, we feel like what people do like is walkable alternates of, you
Old
know,
Mammoth Road was one we brought up.
Yep. Catesby Lane, they have walkways, but they also have a walking path. If you look at Catesby Lane, I think if there's a car parked on the side of the road, you can barely get by because everything's on granite curbs because there's walkways, this, that, and the other thing. Young Road, what's that street? It's getting built right now. there's no walkways, but there's all these walkable paths that, you know, go through the back sides of the houses and bring it, like, they get a little patio thing and stuff like that. So I think we were trying to find ways to promote walkability without saying, let's put sidewalks in. And then, I mean, the other conversation to be had there was, this is my own opinion, the other conversation to be had there was, if we really wanted sidewalks in, it needed to start 40-something years ago in the 80s when all these neighborhoods were getting built.
Yeah.
Londonderry's a built-out community.
Anyway, Mr. Chair, I didn't mean to make an issue out of it. We should move on. It wasn't applying sidewalks in the whole town. I clearly said that.
No, I know.
And I think if, anyway, I'm gonna stop there.
Well, this
because
doesn't
I
prevent
think that
sidewalks.
We just disagree on that. and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Right,
Mark,
doesn't
and
prevent
I
sidewalks.
do wanna,
Yeah,
yo,
I think that,
I do
Let's
wanna.
move on.
Yeah, I do wanna. go
Walkways can encompass sidewalks.
Right.
Correct. We were
Right.
trying to,
ahead. Yeah, and that was, I would just wanna end on that. Really walkable areas provide the flexibility. If a developer wants to come in with a new neighborhood concept saying, you know, this is the concept, and then that gives the planning board and the Heritage Commission or whoever's reviewing it, the backbone says, well, where's the walkability? They come in and they say, well, we have sidewalks, and then we have that conversation, and then it allows us more
Absolutely.
flexibility where we are wanting to say, these are what, it has to be a walkable community, and this is where we're kind of looking at it in a safe environment. So.
Yeah, because they could have trails behind, off the
well,
road
that's what we're
completely.
seeing.
And then that's very walkable, but there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, Christine, I'm sorry, I completely blanked on your name for whatever, and that's why I called you. So I apologize. I'm like, how did I forget her name when I?
I answered 2 words.
So thank
All
you.
right, moving on.
Is there any revision? Do you want to take out unique and maybe have innovative or?
Again, and please don't misinterpret this wrong. I'm completely open to revisions as a request at the public hearing section of the planning board, because we're done here. If theoretically, if you revise this, the planning board would then have to review it again.
Yeah, let's
I'm
move on.
all for revisions. Please, 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 please come to the public hearing and state what you want to see revised. It's not happening here.
This was the one thing that you and Jeff were going to provide feedback on, because there was.
We're providing,
No,
there's
so
difference,
No,
Sylvia.
no.
We're mixing
We
up
were not
feedback and
providing feedback.
revisions.
You were basically saying, this is what we are these are the edits that we see fit, and you were going to just send that.
Present them to this board.
Present to this board, and then send
Which is
it.
perfect.
Send it to us, just for awareness.
Correct, which, again, I think the presentation's good. I want
Yeah.
to get away from the word revision, because technically this has been, through this board, signed off and sent to the planning board. So from a
Okay.
rule of order,
Right.
if you want to call it, the revision needs to happen at a public hearing with the planning board. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Move on.
Keep moving.
Those were the only 3 things.
Perfect.
So in other words, that at the planning board, at the public hearing, if we wanted to take out the word unique, we could do it at that point.
Exactly.
Yep.
And please, like, by all means, I'm actually completely open to what, I forget the word he said, but in my head, I'm like, wow, that makes more sense.
Right,
I'm
right.
just saying.
Totally makes more sense.
It was varied or
Variety, I think he said
unique
variety.
is just the odd
Yeah,
word
but
to use. There.
Unique is
That's
the
the
word.
time to do it.
Yep.
That's all I'm getting at, is that's the time to do it.
Or even eliminate it altogether, promote pedestrian connections, says it
Right?
all.
Yeah.
Come to the
The,
planning board, public comment.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
So that kind of, addressed what, the conversations, had at the first reading last week. I do want to kind of mention, I don't believe it's been confirmed, but we are targeting a separate meeting of the master plan public hearing to be its
Correct.
own agenda item on September 24th.
Correct, which we did, I specifically talked to Kelly about it, because anybody that comes to public hearings at the planning board, you know they can come with plenty of fatigue come 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So the conversation was, this should not be something that is, one, it shouldn't be something that's put on the front of an agenda that has 3 or 4 items behind it, nor should it be something put on the end of agenda that has 3 or 4 items in front of it. So the conversation was, let's take this and make it a specific meeting for a public hearing at the planning board.
What was the date of that again?
It was the 24th.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I unfortunately will not be able to make that date.
It's all right. But that is, I don't believe Kelly has confirmed that yet, right?
Right.
We all kind of said, hey, tentative, but we are waiting for a confirmation,
Right.
if I remember correctly.
All right. So thank you, Sylvia, for walking us kind of through those edits, and thank you for the conversation on that and really outlining our next steps. So I really kind of want to, pivot to what are the absolute next steps as well. The planning board also discussed what their expectations are, and Jake, if you want to kind of provide.
I have expectations.
Well, I'm assuming because you're the chair of the planning board, so of what the, how do we get through this process?
Yeah.
And we ensure that it's not a rush process, but we also have the resources
Yeah, so,
available to do it right.
here, oh, hold on, let me just pull up the agenda so you and I are on the same page. There we go. So you're at 6, project timeline. So my thoughts behind this are, obviously, we have a survey open right now, correct?
We do.
When's the close date on the survey? September 26th or something, maybe?
It was the 15th, which would be 6
15th.
weeks,
Okay.
having that open.
So when did it start?
September,
I
Wednesday,
believe August
September
6th, if I
17th
remember correctly.
Oh, wow.
is what was in your notes, Jeff.
Yeah,
September 17th?
September
17th.
17th tentatively.
Yep.
I mean,
That makes
that's
sense.
flexible,
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
right now we're targeting the 17th.
I feel as though the board wants to focus on getting these 3 chapters memorialized and into the first 3 parts of the master plan. So, I'm not sure what that looks like right now with this board. We have the, like I said, we have the survey out right now. Do we have any idea how many responses we have on the survey by chance?
I believe the last time I asked Cam, it was under 70.
Okay.
Now, just for the record, one of the questions, or something that, one of the ideas that came up from this group at one of our last meetings was to ensure that those who had responded to the first survey, those respondents that provided email addresses,
Right.
that was also, they all got an individual email sent to them to inform them about the survey. So that was, you can do that right through SurveyMonkey. So, it may be, I don't know if, we can check to make sure your email address is correct in that SurveyMonkey, but, yeah, that's the feature. So I believe that's why we have any responses right now, because the survey isn't presently, we're working with the town on this, but it's, you have to really dig to find it.
You did.
So it's not on the town, on the first page, it's not on the planning board page, it's not on the master plan committee page. Only if you dig in the master, and go to the master plan webpage itself, not the committee, but the master plan webpage, do you find it? And then it's right there. So I have been emailing with Churston, and hopefully that will rectify, and as well as Facebook. I don't know that it's it's not on
Yeah.
Facebook
No, it's
either.
not.
I'd say that.
Yeah, no,
that
it has not been publicized. It has
No.
not been promoted.
It definitely hasn't.
Yeah, Martha, go
That
ahead.
I would say that the link directly to the survey should go on all those on the town Facebook page, but there's other town, Londonderry Facebook pages
Recreation
that
Commission,
people
the-
go to,
yeah,
that we
yeah.
should post it on all of those as well. And we should make it more readily available on the town website as well. I did it today, and it took me a long time to find it and get there. So I think that it's so important that we get this information out to the residents of Londonderry so they get a chance to respond to these surveys. There were a lot of good questions in there, and I think it's the utmost important. I wouldn't mind it if we had a, email list. I don't know if your office has worked on this, you say the monkey survey or whatever that's
Survey
called.
monkey.
But a, list of those emails that you could just do, one email and it would go out to everybody.
Yeah,
I-
we did that. But Deb is saying she didn't get it,
And
so-
I didn't get
I gotta
anything
say,
either.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
All
gotten
right,
anything.
so I'll check with, I know Cam did that back, let's see, it went out on the 8th. It should have happened right in the 8th or 9th, so I'm not sure if that function isn't working properly, but we can do it a different way.
So, and Martha, I 110% agree with you. This is, and I was the one that kind of raised we have to really dig to get any information for the master plan. I think part of that too is well intended. We have a separate master plan page, which I actually have more conversations about the link not looking legit over the content of that page. That's neither here nor there, but I think perception is reality here, and I really think we need to focus on ensuring that this survey is appropriately targeted in the right spots. The content of this survey is as obviously different than the last one, so there might not be as much excitement. So we have to work a little bit harder to kind of get it out there. That said, we need to have the spaces available, and that it is easy for us to navigate it, easy for us to kind of share and all that. I say all this because I think it's starting to get a point of where I really want to ensure that administratively we have all of our ducks in a row on this as we tackle these next tiers. And part of this conversation did occur at the planning board level is like, do we have the capacity? Do we have the capability to drive down chapters 1, 2, and 3, which are incredibly important for this town, work on the next chapters simultaneously or not? And I feel like the planning board discussion was that we want to focus on chapters 1, 2, and 3, ensure that's focus. We also need to educate on what those chapters are before the public hearing.
Yeah, I would be, I'm not opposed to, obviously we have a survey out. We're never gonna get the results we got on the first survey, because we're in a different section of the master plan. 3/4 of the people that took the survey probably don't realize that there was gonna be another survey. I would be comfortable saying, let's get the survey results, whatever they are, and make a decision of if we need to extend the survey and figure out how we can get a little bit more outreach throughout the town. But, to your point, I don't know that we're gonna be able to finish these 3 and keep going on with the next 3. So to me, it's like, do we finish what we're doing, get the first 3 done, start back up here, get it back to the board, let them get those 3 done, bring it back here, get the final chapters done, bring it back to the board, as opposed to kind of trying to do this together, because I'm definitely not confident that it's going to go the way smoothly, I should say.
You're right, Mr. Chair. I just tried to find it. It took me 5 minutes to find it. I did finally find it.
Yeah.
On our, town site. It kept taking me to steering committee, as you said. So I did finally find it, actually.
So you find it you have to click on the.
Yeah, it's a link on.
Master plan update.
It's a link.
You scroll
it is.
down and it's quite clear. It's right here.
Yeah.
The draft chapters are there and a lot more, but.
The reality is, it should be on the web, the front page. And the reason I would advocate for it being on the front page is because your average citizen's not going to understand what the master plan steering committee is. They're not going to go and look at it from that standpoint, but they will if they go to the Londonderry page.
Yeah, if it's
they
in
see
front of
it
their
there.
face, right? Yeah.
And that's really just like, that's just consumer. If we're just looking at it from a consumer standpoint.
It's like Google. When's the
Right.
last time you hit page 2?
Deb.
Up to the mic. Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. I was hoping that at Old Home Day, we had discussed that there was going to be something there. There were 3 committees, Beautify Londonderry, Londonderry Green Team, Conservation, and Utility, all in a row. We all could have had a
Survey.
a QR thing or something that would drive people to go there so that it could have, people could have did it right there and then. They don't want to stop and talk, but, this is a survey
I can
about your
grab it
town.
and do it right
Something,
there.
you want to put input in your town. We want to hear from you. Take this survey. And that's all, a big sign with the QR thing.
Right.
And there was nothing there and there was nothing at the
I'll
concerts.
definitely take responsibility for that.
I'm just saying we missed an opportunity
there was-
We
to.
totally missed the boat on that, totally.
I'm sorry?
We totally missed the boat on that.
Yeah, like you did that the first one.
Right,
I
and it
think
was
that
very
helped
successful.
Get the information. I'm just,
I don't
I'm not
disagree.
pointing fingers or anything.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Deb. I'll be honest. I think a lot of it is volunteer time, right? The Southern New Hampshire was at the other Old Homes Day. They said they weren't going to be able to make it, I believe. And, for me at least, I'll be honest with you. I was up front. I said, if you
Yeah.
want me to set
Well, I mean,
something
the
up
town
in the
had a
morning and
booth
take
too
it down
this
at the
year.
night, I'll do that. But
Yeah.
I'm spending Old Homes Day with my kids this year.
Yeah, but we had a booth too for the
Yeah,
town there, like
Yeah,
where the
that's
manager
true.
was sitting
That's
there
true.
with Kirsten and stuff.
No, I don't
So
disagree.
there was plenty,
Yeah.
and then the senior dinner, the barbecue thing. I mean,
Correct.
you had an audience.
It's all stuff we had last year, and I think
Yeah.
some of that might relate to. It could be a little bit of fatigue of the board. We've
But-
been at
but
this
the
thing for a
question
year.
It's
becomes-
we didn't have the administrative.
What's coming up that we
That we
can act upon to maybe enhance what you're trying to do?
Old Homes Day 2026.
Well, no,
2026.
Also voting in March.
you have your voting,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
but
can't
you,
wait
you
that
have the
long to get
Blues
a
Festival
survey
this
answer.
Saturday, which is veterans, another
Yeah.
piece of our community. There are a couple of other, what? Something at the library, just to sit at the front desk.
I'll put it in the paper.
Well, I can't say that because
I
that's,
can.
okay. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
things like that, I'm trying to think, there's a couple of things coming up. There has to be. I can't think
At
right
the
now.
end of the day, I'm all for it. Somebody needs to grab it by the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what, and say, I'm going to do
So
it.
this is.
Yeah, we
I-
had
I
that
don't- and I'm
QR
sorry to
there.
interrupt
Yeah,
your
no,
meeting.
We had-
Deb, you're
We had that
absolutely
QR
right.
code the last.
Yep, come on up, Christine, and then I have a statement that I just want to kind of make. Thanks, Deb.
Real quick.
Christine Perez, 5 Wesley Drive. I live in a senior community. My seniors and the people that I know, and I'm going to guess since we have such a huge, largest per capita in the state, seniors, they do not go on the Londonderry website.
Right.
They don't go on it. The only way I had people complaining to me that they knew nothing about Old Home Day until the week of it, and we don't get the paper till Friday. The problem is you have a huge senior community. I don't go on the Londonderry website. You need to put it where seniors can get it. And I know it's a plug for the paper, but if you put something in the paper and it is available and, at this link or something, they might go on their computer and do it. You want people to come out and vote in March? You're not reaching them with social media. You're not reaching a huge, huge population of old people, and I can say that because you're not reaching them. They're not going to come out and vote because they have no idea what's going on. I had 2 people yesterday to say to me, Thank God the notices are in the paper again. So,
Yeah.
you're missing the boat with all the social media stuff.
And thank you, Christine, I appreciate those comments. One thing I really want to, I don't disagree with anything that's what's said. Who's gonna do the work? Is it going to be me? Do we want me to start making QR codes? Do you want me to hack into the website, make the updates to the website? Do you want me to kind of write articles? I'll do that if it's directed. But we are a large community that has very much partnered with Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission, as well as, our own internal staff, to collaboratively do this work. Need help. And if we want to continue to do these 3 chapters as effectively as possible, we got to start. And I'm not blaming anybody, and maybe I'm just, kind of talking and blaming myself here. Got to do the freaking work. So, people.
How do we get the first
we
QR
need
code?
targets.
Well, that
we need targeted milestones. We needed targeted schedules. I need to know who's doing the work, because right now I have no idea who's doing the work.
And, Mr. Chair, can I just touch on what the question she had asked?
Proceed.
I think the first time, again, I just mentioned something, a little bit of fatigue. The first time, we were all very hot to trot to get everybody. You were posting, Jeff was posting, everybody
We
was
had
out there.
something to post.
That's
Yeah.
true. Good point.
Yeah, exactly. I would
We
do
need
it
to spread the
still.
word, but we have to have it.
Yeah,
That's
we
all.
have to have the data.
We have it,
Create a
and
QR
we've
code.
sent it out, and we can
But
set
none of
up.
us have seen it. Why haven't any of us seen it?
No,
I don't know. And
okay,
we
first,
can.
stop.
Oh my God.
Stop. Everyone stop. What I asked for was a schedule. What I asked for was a communication plan. If we don't have that, then I don't want to proceed with this work. I don't want finger pointing. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of the planning board's time. It's a waste of our own time. Either work together or don't do it. Who's going to work with Sylvia to make sure that, that we have a communication plan in place?
What do you mean by communication?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
So, hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Go
you're
ahead.
good.
I'm just about to walk out, because if we don't know what a
So-
communication plan is, if the
No,
professionals in the
no.
room can't tell us what a
No, no, no.
communication
All right,
plan
Mr.
is.
Chair, Mr. Chair, all right. So, I think I have heard Jeff mention the word schedule multiple times. I know I live in a world where everything I do is based off of a schedule, literally everything I do, down to material my company purchases, to when we have to submit on product data, to when we have to be done on a project. It's all down to a schedule. We really, I believe Jeff has asked for it a handful of times, and we really have not gotten a true schedule as to what this looks like, which I think is part of the reason we're a year into this and still on, just finished chapters 1 through 3. I feel as though that's what Jeff's looking for. He's not necessarily getting it. Jeff, I believe you put together a schedule, correct? You put together like a tentative, could you review the schedule?
That's correct.
When did you do that?
First time last spring, most recently middle of the summer, for work within.
Your most recent schedule to review, when was it sent out? This month, last month, like 2
Earlier
months
this
ago?
month.
Earlier this month.
Probably twice.
So,
It was not sent out to the board, so I want to clarify
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
not sent out, it was sent out.
but the issue here is that the first response to it was today, correct?
Correct.
So, I think where Jeff's frustration is that he sent something out multiple times and he's getting an answer the day of the meeting. It's just, we can't operate like this. I sure as hell can't operate this. I am a very busy dude. I need to know what's going on. I need to have a schedule put in front of me. I think this board is looking for a schedule, and we don't necessarily have one.
Yeah.
I think right now, the task from the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission that we need is put a schedule together. Put a real legitimate schedule with dates and expectations of what our milestones are and where we're gonna be, is the feeling that I'm getting from the chair. And I don't necessarily disagree with him. Like I said, my entire life is built on a schedule,
Yeah.
like personal, professional.
Well, and it's unacceptable for this next 3 chapters to go as long as these first 3 went.
Correct.
And I think that's not a reflection on the chair or the vice chair or anything else like that. What that's a reflection is us in totality as a board. I think we've got to be a lot more disciplined. I think we've had meetings where we pushed it off because somebody didn't get an email. We pushed it off a month, and that added a month to this. And that's nobody's fault. And I'm not saying, but it's just, if we want to move this along, we've got to be disciplined because we can't lose that time.
Correct.
And we've also gone over chapters. It felt like for like 3 meetings in a row, the same chapters, we've gone in circles around stuff. And we just, one bite at the apple, because this board will wear out before we get done.
Well, we're there.
And we're seeing it already.
We're there.
And that's why we didn't have as much energy into the survey and anything else. The next 3 won't
Forget
happen.
about it.
Because at this pace, we'll be at 5-6 years.
Correct, and that's
We ain't
why
all
I'm
gonna be
saying,
sitting
like,
here.
you know, for me right now, I don't even want to focus on the next steps until let the planning board get their thing done, because I don't see it working well, that's all.
So can I just make a comment? I think that as a member of the committee, or master plan committee, we respond and act on things that's put in front of us, right? So I do agree that we don't have to spend 3 meetings or 4 meetings on the same 3 chapters. Those are very hotly discussed chapters, though, because there's a lot of language that had to be looked at in those.
Yeah.
But I think if we were to lay out to me, it's like there's 2 different things. We're looking for outreach, and that outreach came at the senior fair. It came out at Old Home Days. It comes out when we have a table. We tell about the survey. We had a flyer. I worked at 2 senior meetings, and I worked one of the last year, than this year, but last year worked the Old Home Days. So in turn, the QR code and all that, we're supposed to do that as a committee, then we'll have to do it. But if we have it, we'll publicize it where we can on Facebook and our social media that we have individually as individuals. So I guess to me, the public outreach is one thing, getting the work done is another thing. And I don't know, it can't speak for everybody. I'm willing to do whatever's needed to be done to get through this thing, because they're supposed to have been done already by now, I think. So they're 2 different things. And I think as far as the public outreach and some of the documentation, whether it's easy to find on a website, that's a town of Londonderry thing. That's an IT, not me, not Jeff, not John. That's a town of Londonderry. Have them create a QR code. We'll put it all over the place.
Correct.
So I think, to me, I'm all for that. We want to be done. We got to get it done. Not rush through it, but, we want to get it done. I was surprised we're not done, frankly. But I'm willing to work personally with any schedule you make that's reasonable.
Correct.
I don't think anybody here is going to speak against that.
No.
But to me, it's like I get the information like in my email, like everybody does, my toll boards. I read it like I did for this one.
Correct.
I make sure I read everything for a change, and I looked at everything. I didn't understand the markup comments as much in the 3 chapters, but I get them now. I got them now. And move on. Let's move on. We could have done a chapter tonight for all I know. And I know there's a priority here that was listed as land use, right? So, but I think if we make a schedule to say we're only going to spend 2 meetings on a chapter, right, Mr. Chair, or whatever,
right.
Let's do it. I'm all down with that. I'm good with it.
And that's,
Thank you.
Sylvia, I think that is the ask from this board to you as the professionals. We need a schedule developed as to what this thing looks like. And it needs to be laid out that has, exactly what's talked about at each meeting, when the finish of each segment is, so on and so forth, so we can move forward. And until I think we have that, I just, to me, it's let's focus on what's at the board. Let's get that done the board, and then.
All right, that,
get to this.
what I need from this group, though, is what we did last year at this time. We had a very robust list of our outreach. I have very little to go on this one, and these are very different chapters.
It's different.
What would be
They're
what would
very
change?
different chapters. For example, natural resources. We had Ray in here talking about water and air infrastructure. Does this group want us to have maybe invite the Conservation Commission in to have a discussion about the natural resources chapter? Just as an example. Transportation is another one of the chapters. And so what kind of and economic development do we want? Is there anything you want to involve the business community in? Land use, housing.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Those are meaty. We didn't have our planner for the first 8 months. We accomplished quite a bit. So now I can easily put together a schedule, but it will be minus your ideas and input on what outreach will look like.
I think
Will it be unique?
okay.
Will it,
Hold on.
that kind of thing?
I think we need something to react
We
to.
need something to start with.
Yeah.
We need something to start with.
Well,
And
Well,
the outreach, for example, I'm just going to give you an example. Last year at Old Home Days, and I understood that we didn't have anything at Old Home Days, but whoever created that QR code, I don't know how to create a QR code.
we did that.
Okay, if we had had that this year for this second survey, let's say, as Deb Paul said when she was in the room, I was at Old Home Day, Marge was at Old Home Day, John was at Old Home Day. We all had booths, we all had people stopping by, and we would have given them that QR code. We would have conveyed that message to all the people that came by to speak to us, but we didn't have it.
Exactly, Martha. We didn't have it, but we also had like a month and a half prep prior to Old Home Day. We started in June. We were at least a month later here with this survey. So the timing didn't work out.
No, but
And then people
right.
were
let's just-
unavailable.
I would like to I don't want to cut any, can I talk for a second? Are you all right if I talk for a second, Mr. Chair?
I think so.
I don't want to cut anybody off, but what I don't want to talk about is what we should have done.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I want is what we're going to do. And what we're going to do involves, we need a schedule presented from the Southern New Hampshire Planning Committee that we can react on. Nonetheless, when's the survey done? The 26th? 16th? Something like that?
15th or 17th.
You know, I don't see, in my eyes, I don't see anything going on here until, again, I want to just not see anything go on until the planning board's done, which we have probably a month and a half before we're done these chapters. If, we might decide to have a second hearing, who knows? But, the way I look at it is we have nothing to do here until August, September, October. Probably towards the end of October, where I think that, from there, Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission can present this board with a plan of how we move through the next steps. From there, this board can react to that plan and decide if it's appropriate if the schedule's appropriate and appropriate to take the next steps. And more importantly, we'll have some survey data back. And, personally, I think part of me thinks that survey data is going to be about 145 people, and we should consider sending the survey out again. It's my
Yes,
2 cents.
Somewhere in there, we need to
So-
promote the survey.
Yeah, we
Correct.
have to promote the survey.
So this is where,
if we're going to go on.
yeah, we're going to continue. We all know we have to promote the survey. It's how we're promoting it, who's doing the work, when is the work going to get done, and that type of stuff. That's where we are, folks.
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
okay, so maybe we could break that down a little further. Okay, so you've got a survey in the field. It sounds like we had a fail on getting the mailing list out, the survey out to the mailing list from the first time.
I would agree.
Suspected. I didn't get it, and
Yeah.
some people didn't get it. So we have to sort that problem out, and I think that's your group. So
Yeah.
okay. And then in terms of taking responsibility, I know last time I hit my 15 Facebook groups, All I need, I can make my own QR code, I don't care about that, but I just need the link that I can send out so that I can build something in a one-panel message to the Facebook groups that I'm involved with and get that out. So that'll help. So that's 2 groups, because I think we got pretty good results from Facebook last time. So that promotes the survey. In terms of in-place stuff, I think we've heard something tonight about the seniors, and they don't respond perhaps to social media, although I consider myself part of that group, so I don't know. But it sounds like we have to do something aimed at the seniors, either through the senior center or maybe at the 55 pluses, to kind of talk them through what the next step is.
You need those postcards.
Whatever the idea is, but I mean, specific tasks and things that can be fixed pretty rapidly to maybe get us back on timeline and on the survey. And then beyond that, I think everything else is on hold till we see a schedule and develop a task list out of the schedule.
I agree.
Can we extend the survey due date?
Well, I think that's,
I just took
think
it,
it's
by the
gonna
way,
be
while we
needed.
were discussing, but.
I think that's gonna
I
be
think
needed.
that we should do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can create a QR code the way you did before, right? And you can share it, correct? We can publicize it. I mean, I can't remember what time of the year the senior fair is, but there's a senior center, there's a library, there's other things. I think what we could do is if we have a QR code, and we can also possibly, I don't know how, who would pay for, would the town pay for printing some simple flyers or something? We had those at the senior fair
We
a
have
couple
the
years.
postcards that we
Well, I
passed
mean-
With the
out.
postcards.
Again,
But
so.
just to hear me out,
Yeah,
excuse
yeah.
me. So what I'm saying is, what I'm suggesting is, there's 2 things I want to touch on. One, this mic won't stop moving, is that we can email the chair, because we can't email each other, our ideas for any outreach between now and November, let's say. Is that reasonable, Mr. Chair? November?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
If we,
Because,
yeah.
yeah, so I'm just saying, even if somebody says library 4 times, or senior center 6 times, at least we're getting it together. That's number one. Get the QR code, extend the due date of the survey, and then I think my last comment, we do the best we can, right? The other thing I was going to make a comment on is that what Sylvia's talking about is these other chapters. How many more are there? Because I don't have a good feel for it, to be honest with you.
I don't either.
Sure.
Are they 4? Are they 6?
So originally, this time last year, the tiers went land use, vision, housing, demographics. Second tier, natural resources, transportation, economic development. And the final tier, historic, cultural resources, community, facilities, and regional context. But we moved regional context up with land use.
So we have like
So
5
we
more.
have actually finished vision, demographics, regional context, land use, and housing. So those are 5 sections. We're covering 3 now. The one other thing that we haven't talked about yet is future land use workshop. Future land use usually comes at the end, but at the planning board, it was talked about bringing that forward. And one of the things our team did was develop for this group's next meeting, we could have a public workshop that dove into future land use and doing a mapping exercise, and that would bring that to full circle, so we could do that. But anyway, the final, so after these 3 and consideration for the future land use,
It's 5, right?
it's really just historic and cultural resources and community facilities.
So there's only 2 left?
After this tier. We still have to do that final of the future land use
So there's 5 total, including this
mapping
tier.
exercise.
Yes.
There's 5, so I was right, 5. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, to go back to that, so 5. So I didn't know that, so now I know, we know. I think Sylvia makes a good point that some of those who might want to bring in somebody from natural resources or historic resources or some of the committees in town. But I think the question is, we probably can't get, probably can get through one of those chapters in a month. But maybe, I guess the bottom line is, what's the end date? I live by schedules too. That's my business.
Yeah.
What's the end date? Are we trying to be done? I'm asking. I'm not March, February. What do you think,
And
Mr.
that's,
Chair?
that's my, Jeff, I'll let you go.
I mean, seriously, what are you
No,
thinking?
and that's where
Honest question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Ideally, we want it to be done in December. That's not happening. The land use thing was the land use, which I think is actually a great, phenomenal idea, but
I don't even want to get into it.
we don't want to get into it. And we just actually heard about it last week at the planning board meeting. I'm sure it was probably discussed at a previous meeting, and I may not have caught it, but that's where we just learned of that. The other two chapters here, ideally March, but again, it goes back to, do we have even the capability to do all of this in a spot where we feel proud of what we're producing? I'm not convinced we do.
I would agree.
So I just want to get your opinion, but if we have 5 chapters, let's say, right, and we say 2 months a chapter, 2 meetings a chapter. So one, we get people to come in, like the Heritage Commission or the Natural Resources or whatever, and just talk to us, but give them like 30 minutes, you know?
Right.
And then we can use the other one as a workshop to actually do the chapter, and we say we're going to be done before, we're not leaving until we finish the wording. I don't know that we're going to have as much contention or discussion over these chapters as we did over the other ones.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I would agree with that. So that means, 8 months. I hate to say it out loud, Mr. Chair, I apologize, but that would be like September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, March, April to finish.
I agree, and
Does that make sense,
Some
Mr.
of that
Chair? I
is,
don't know.
again.
It does.
Go ahead.
No, you're good, Jake.
To your point of, bringing in other boards and committees, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Get a schedule in front of us that has these recommendations so we have something to work on. Because right now it feels like we're coming in here and just going, well, what should we do? Put a schedule together that has, a recommended timeline for each chapter, that has recommendations of involvement for each chapter, that all has end dates to it so we can go, okay, we have a Bible to look at here to get us moving. Because right now
And the good thing about a schedule is that
holds everybody accountable.
it holds everyone accountable, but if we need to make adjustments, it's okay.
Yep.
But right now, we're making adjustments. We're reacting to adjustments because we didn't have a solid plan going forward.
Do you want us to pull the survey?
No, I think
No,
the
I
survey
think
needs
the
to
survey
stay
has
until the
to stay.
17th. I think a schedule needs to be put together, and I think from there, this board needs to get together, act on the schedule, which again, in my opinion, should not be done until the planning board is done on their, from a resource standpoint, until the planning board is through their process with these first 3 chapters. Then this board can react to the schedule and react to the survey. We'll have a schedule. My gut is the board's gonna say, let's put the survey out. So if I was building a schedule for this, I would probably come up with, a certain amount of time to, not only time, but actionable items on the schedule in terms of implementing good responses from the survey. I think that's where we at. I think that, again, I don't see us here until October.
One thing we can do is begin the existing conditions for those chapters.
No, I don't even want to. And Mr. Chair, if I just spoke for you because I'm not the chair of this board. I don't even want to. Existing conditions for the next chapters. I don't
Yeah,
even want to
the
talk about the
data,
next.
just-
I don't even want to talk
We're
about
gonna-
data for the next set of chapters until the planning board has met their commitment, which is getting the first 3 chapters complete. So that's off of Southern New Hampshire Commission's radar, and a schedule is put together for the next set of chapters. I don't want to do a thing until we have that. I just don't.
But can I,
Except, Mr. Chairman, promote the survey, because we have nothing else to do while we're
Right.
Right.
sitting here, so.
the survey could be
promote the heck out of the
still
survey.
going on in the
Absolutely.
background of all that,
Absolutely.
what you just
But
said.
I don't even want to talk about putting together other phases of this thing until we have a plan.
We also owe it to the public to tell them what the schedule is, or that high-level schedule, when things are being kind of expected. I was hoping we could do that with these first 3 chapters, but I think, Sylvia, I appreciate you wanting to kind of like, putting together the items before the schedule, but that's where we're kind of,
No, you gotta
that's
build-
what's going to get us off track of getting a schedule is, we don't have a schedule, we have nothing to react to, we have nothing to change, we have nothing, we're
To prepare
just
for.
reacting and we're just preparing. Christine,
Yeah,
could you just,
she's had her hand up
yeah,
for a
come
bit.
on up, sorry.
Just one thing,
I have a suggestion for your survey. If you're going to put it at the senior center where somebody can go on a computer and do it, or at the library, but I suggest that you take out you get a QR code. You take out a half-page ad, say, this is the survey, this is the reason we want it. You can do a QR code, or you can go to here to fill out the survey. That's going to go to a half-page ad is going to, do it in color, half-page ad, I don't know what they cost, I forget, $100 maybe?
If that,
It gets to every house. They have a QR code. If you don't want a QR, you can go here or here. Get it out. You get it to every single home, the old people and the young people. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Christine, one question about, and
That's
with a
right.
QR code,
Yes, as old people, some of us know how to do it.
We also had print.
You were trying to be really nice about
I know.
that.
Don't worry about. I don't get offended.
So-
I don't get offended by anything.
I was trying to ask the generational question.
I know, but
All
that's
right.
fine. I know how to use a QR code now. But the thing of it is, if you say, but it is also available at the library or the senior center, then if somebody doesn't want to use a QR code or doesn't know how to, but say, this is the second survey, this is what it's for, we need it done by this date, here's a QR code, or go here to get it done. Red in color, half-page ad. Goes to every house.
I
want to, yeah, go ahead, and if we could
that,
keep going, Mr. Chair.
most of the senior communities in town have like
We have a newsletter.
a center, but they
Yeah,
have
you
like
got
a
the
clubhouse
thing,
or
Put it-
something
the thing you
like
can
that.
put stuff under.
Well,
yeah,
we can
yeah.
do it.
And
We can
I
do it in
tell
our.
you
thank
right
you.
now that I would be willing to contact the board of these places and go to have a meeting with these people. If they wanted to come,
can't.
they wouldn't come. What?
You can't. Most
Solicitor.
of that you can put up anything you want in our postal center.
Okay.
Okay. But I still think the way to do it is get it into every other house. I can ask people if they want to come. People don't come. They
Okay.
just don't come.
All right.
You know, but I think the best way is just put it out there in color. This is how you can do it. And then if they don't want to do it, can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So,
And
I
then-
can work with the local
and
newspapers
it's cheap.
to.
$100 maybe most.
I'll work with the local newspapers to get it in there. Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you, Christine.
So, and just, could,
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
and I'm sorry, Jeff, I feel like I keep cutting you off.
No, that's okay.
Just to circle back on again, everything Christina said is correct. Let's get it in the newspaper. Let's do this. Let's do that. But I want to circle back to, we have a schedule. That schedule says from X to Y, we are doing newspapers, we're doing Facebook, we're doing senior centers, we're doing whatever else is going on, and it's laid out in a schedule, so we all have something that we can work on instead of, it's all great ideas, let's go throw it in the newspaper, but nobody knows what's going on, and then everybody leaves here, and then a month back, we come
Right.
back and go, oh, none of us put it in the newspaper,
Right.
none of us
Right.
got it,
Right.
yeah, wow, what's going on?
Yeah.
So, again, I almost want,
Just to add to your schedule.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
but thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
But, that's my thought is, I agree with all of it. Let's get it in a timeline.
So the other thing I want to suggest is even if whatever the planning board's doing or not doing with these chapters and the hearings and all of that, I don't see any harm with sharing at least one or two of the other chapters with this committee that we can read on our own. So when we come next time, we're prepared. Because 3 of you are on the planning board, the rest of us are not.
Correct.
So we're not participating other than if we come to yell at you with public comment. So I'm joking, but send the chapters. Send the chapters.
But so, and
I mean, maybe one, maybe two. I don't know. We can collect our thoughts like we did on the other ones. We did it online anyway. We all reviewed it, right? We gave our comments. Why waste the time? It doesn't keep the planning board from doing what they have to do.
Right.
In the first three
gives us
chapters,
time to
right?
really digest it.
Yeah. That's my suggestion. I can't see anything wrong with that,
I like
unless
it.
the group does, but
I don't see anything wrong with it, unless I want to just harp on the schedule.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Bob. I agree.
no, I agree with you, but that's gonna
So-
make the
I wanna
schedule
harp-
work
I wanna-
better, hopefully. I don't
I
know.
agree.
Yeah.
I
So-
agree. And
so-
with a schedule, it allows us to see, okay, because right now, again, I'm giving we just provided, a 30-minute kind of project management 101 course.
Yeah.
But without the schedule, we're not able to kind of say that, we can do that. And, hypothetically, theoretically, yeah, of course, we probably could be able to do that. But get the schedule there, see what, see where we have the lag, see where the overlap can be, see where we realistically can get this scheduled out and get it in just, the schedule should be driving these next 5 chapters.
Absolutely.
And Bob, just to give you my thoughts on the comments, your comment here, and I think after that we should be moving forward, Mr. Chair. Well, I agree that, what's the harm in sending out the data? My problem to it is they still have to work on putting together the data, which is only gonna delay putting a schedule together. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
to me, it's like,
How ready is that?
Okay.
The
No.
schedule is not it's, I'm hearing a few different things. One, and I think this is ideally, it really seems like this is a communication concern here.
It's been a
And that-
communication concern for a year.
And trying to, get in touch with, it'd be great if Kelly and Jeff and I just had a chance to sit down, review some of these details.
What happened to, and I'm pushing back on this because we had scheduled, review periods that were supposed to happen on the first, the second Monday, and whatever. We had that scheduled, but it dropped off the vine. And frankly, I'm a volunteer. I'm pretty busy myself. I cannot be, I shouldn't have to hire an administrative assistant to do my town volunteer work.
16 hours a week at the planning board isn't enough.
So we can make all the promises we want, but until I see, I'm not, maybe I step away. I don't know. Maybe I've hit that. But I don't want to move forward until I see a schedule that is actionable. And if you're saying that it's easy to put together, then where is it? Because I'm looking at one that I sent last March. There was 2 that I sent this past summer. I want to see the schedule. That is the directive that you have.
So the last schedule I saw of yours, Jeff, was
Which I sent
maybe
twice,
about
and I received the feedback today.
Maybe a week ago, maybe. And so, I personally thought the real push was to get all the stuff from the planning board. I got that to you a day later. So, I'm just,
so.
I hear your
Go ahead, Jake.
frustration, and I will,
I gotta leave. So
I hear your
Jake will be the,
frustration. I'll be
acting chair for the
to get
remainder
you
of
a
the
schedule tomorrow.
So, Sylvia, I think you hit on something very important. It's a communication issue. I think what the chair is getting at is.
make sure I get my phone back. It's recording the meeting.
Oh, sure. I think what the issue here, Sylvia, is that I feel as though, the chair feels as though things are only getting worked on the day of the meeting. So, to your point, you brought up a communication issue. It's evident that he's very frustrated that things have been sent out to you and they were answered today, after he sent them out twice. So, I think the chair feels as though we're paying a professional service to work on something, and we're we're getting responses the day of the meeting, and it's not necessarily acceptable. I'm not
hear
trying to
that.
speak for the chair, but I have a feeling that that's how he feels right now. So I think that communication is huge to this, and I think that's exactly why he wants a schedule, because it's gonna give him exactly what's going on, and it can
Right.
set a standard for communication.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to propose that we consider adjourning for the night,
I would agree.
and that this is a leadership discussion,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think there's anything being achieved by the rest of us sitting here.
I would agree.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn, anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a second. All in
Second.
favor, please say aye.
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 Have a good night, folks.